I'm not interested in being vice president. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I'm not going to be vice president. I'm not running for governor of Florida.
All right, Marco Rubio back on Capitol Hill after his failed presidential quest, saying that he has no political ambitions for the time being. That would include the governor's office, which brings me to Pam Bondi, Florida's Attorney General, and many argue that she were so interested, a front runner for a governor. Attorney General, very good to have you.
Thanks, Neil. Great to have you. Call me Pam. You know that.
Yes, Attorney General. You can call me Neil. Well, let me ask you about the whole
Cavuto.
thing with the whole thing with Marco Rubio.
Yes.
What is his future, do you think, if he's ruling out those positions? What do you think he does?
You know, I don't know, but I will say on the record, I am not running for governor, and I am supporting Adam Putnam, who I feel he's our agricultural commissioner, and I think he'll be a great governor for our state. Well,
I've looked at polls that indicate otherwise, but you could be right. But let me ask you, before getting into the seedy world of political intentions, you were backing Donald Trump before the Florida primary. Your governor, Rick Scott, only did so after the Florida primary. Why did you announce your intentions before the primary? Because he waited till after.
Well, Neil, it was interesting. My mom wanted to go see Donald. Donald's been a friend for years. My mom wanted to go see him, and I was scheduled to be out of town actually this week, and it didn't pan out. And I went with my mom, and I called and I said, I'd like to endorse. And I really didn't know I would be speaking. I wasn't sure. I didn't even know I'd be introducing Donald at the event. But I choose my endorsements in a very different way, in a personal way. And, you know, I was with Jeb Bush originally because I've known Jeb for 15 years. And I look at the person, and that's what's important to me. And I never want to lose that. In me. I've known Donald. I see a different Donald Trump, I think, than a lot of people see. I see the way he interacts with his kids. I adore Ivanka. I think he's a great dad. His employees adore him. I think they would jump off a cliff for him, and I think that speaks a lot
the
about
same
a person.
applies to his rabid fans, and that's what worries Paul Ryan and some of these others. Say, well, to tone down the rhetoric and this talk of, you know, maybe violence at conventions, you know, you got to bring that down. You got to bring that down. What do you think of that?
I don't think Donald's inciting riots. I don't. And again, I think I saw something recently, Neil, where he spoke somewhere where he's listening to people, and where it came on, and you know, the voice of God that speaks said, please be calm. We don't want any disturbances. We want a peaceful. I think I heard that where he spoke, where maybe perhaps in Ohio or somewhere after Florida. But I don't think he incites riots.
Yeah, I know that was a little extreme. But one of the things I do think that comes up is that his fans are very, very loyal. This idea that. I think your Governor Rick Scott had said he's got a very big lead. If he gets to Cleveland, anyone tries to take this nomination from him, that could lead to trouble, and that would be bad. He wasn't saying riots. But do you think, as the governor does, that if he has a big lead, whether it's 1237 or not, it's his nomination?
Well, Neil, I mean, we have to follow the laws of our land, and the laws of our land say that our nominee has to have 1237, period. So if Donald doesn't have 1237, of course, we'll go into a contested convention. I don't think anyone wants to see that, because I feel like that would be handing this nomination to Hillary on a silver platter. And I hope going into the convention, Donald is able to reach 1237. I'm not a mathematician. I know he's doing very well. And, you know, one thing people forget, you know, you compare him with Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. Well, there were two people in that race.
Very good point.
Donald has over 50%.
But again, I just want to be clear,
when there were 17 people in the race.
You're right. That the math is very different, and I'm glad you pointed it out. But you still subscribe to the rule, 1237. You get the robust. So
that's
you're not in that camp. There's many backers, and I'm reading from Governor Scott, that, you know, you have such a big lead that shouldn't be such an issue. You say no. The rule is the rule is the rule.
Well, the rule is the rule, and I've talked to Governor Scott about this a lot, and I can't speak for him, but I believe what he was saying was, I think he hopes that if we get to that point, like I said, people will rally around the person with the most delegates, which is going to be Donald Trump.
Gotcha.
Because if we have a contested convention, Neil, look what that's doing to our party. I mean, we live in a different world now. It is so frightening. And as Attorney General, I'm sick and tired of suing the President of the United States all the time.
All right,
and I don't want to have to keep suing Hillary Clinton. Well,
so when you are looking at that and you hear this back and forth, do you get a sense that it's sort of like a secret wish among many in the establishment, get to a contested convention, because there's a sense that if he gets really close, there's a way they could take it from him, even though, as you say, it's 1237 or bust?
And you know, Neil, I can't answer that. I don't think really any of us can. And, you know, we hear all this talk about the establishment and who's the establishment. Well, you know, I ran as an outsider 5 years ago, but I guess now I'm part of the establishment because I've been Attorney General for 5 years.
Why do you think they fear him so much? To your point, he has brought in many who not only never voted Republican, a lot of them never voted at all. So what do you think their beef is with Donald Trump?
You know, Neil, I can't answer that because I don't know, because I don't have a beef with him. I think he's a great man. I think, you know, as a career prosecutor, I ran because I care about the security of our state and our country. And I think Donald Trump does too. And again, with 17 people in that race initially, he has over 50% of the delegates already. So the American people are speaking, and they're speaking loud and clear. I think they're tired of what's happening in this country. I, for one, am scared to death what's happening in this country and this world. And we need someone who's going to be strong. And I know Donald Trump, the person, and can he be presidential? He absolutely can. And now just want something different. That's probably how I got elected in 2010.
So you think there is a battle for, I guess, to your point, the soul of the Republican Party, and your party, as other parties have too. They've had their differences, and they come out and shake hands, and everything works out okay. Do you think, regardless of what happens, everyone will work out okay? Because they're really split. There are people who love Donald Trump, the other people who don't love Donald Trump, and if it's someone from the love Trump side, they'll be happy. But if it's the other side, that side will be happy, but not the Trump people. And back and forth, back and forth. Can everyone hold hands and hug after this?
Of course they do, and I hope they do, because ultimately, again, the other side is going to be, the only other option is going to be Hillary Clinton. So hopefully Republicans will come together.
All right, but if they don't, what do you fear?
Well, again, I fear that we would be handing the nomination over to someone who follows Barack Obama's lawless agenda, and it scares me to death. Well, frankly, for the next 3 years, then I'm going to be, next 2 years, I'm going to be suing the President of the United States, which I do not want to do, nor do my counterparts around the state.
All right, Pam Bondi.
We believe in the rule of law.
You're talking about if they win the election, if someone wins the election on the other side. Thank you very much. See, Florida Attorney General. So far, she says not governor. We'll see. Pam Bondi, very good seeing you. See, I was trying to create conflict, right? All right, that'll do it here. Remember, 1237.